big slogan of ours is, what does it look like to make history for our club?
The belief is there. Go away and try and get these points and hopefully make a playoff run.
What a restart to the season. It's a restart that have very high points in the league, but not very high for the Houston Dash regards of the points on the field. So welcome once again to another edition to the Orange and Blueprints here at Bayou City Soccer. I'm your host, Manny Olivares, and it looks like no World Cup, but we got coverage here for the Houston Dash today. But with my host, Diego looks like he just sees some things.
We're a minute into the episode, Manny.
Yeah.
Well, I'm glad to at least have seen some NWSL action and happy to be back with another week of Orange and Blueprints. Like Manny said, we had a game, hell of a game, up in the nation's capital for July 4th weekend, and now we have all sorts of thoughts. Like you said, a lot of good, a lot of bad. Manny, what are some of your takeaways from the game to just really jump straight into it?
Step right into it. Well, the only disappointing thing about this game was that it was during the crazy extra time against Argentina versus Cape Verde. That was the only sad part of this game. It was like when it was on the peak of craziness, almost historic for Cape Verde as the game started. But I feel like the first half was pretty much, I think, as you were expected, the game would go. A little bit back and forth, but the given time for the Spirit to get into the game, and you saw that a little bit in this as well. The Spirit got into the game towards the end of the first half, and of course, when the second half, the Dash did got a little bit of momentum, but here comes Trini Rodman doing what she does and just getting that goal early in the second half, and that set the tempo for the Dash. Felt like they kind of felt vulnerable after that goal, but they still had here and there, and until like the dying minutes, that's when you know the pass from Linda Olmark to Sophie Schmidt. Faked it, and it went to Kate Fosse, and then she scored that goal. And you thought, okay, that's it. The Dash secured a point away, a game that maybe I think, in my opinion, they didn't deserve it. But of course, here comes Trinity Rodman once again doing a stunner, and just I think that goal, a lot of people were criticized of Jane and see like she could have blocked it or anything, but I think it was just a good shot that Trinity Rodman did to secure the 3 points for the Spirit. And despite the performance, despite the I think the performance was there. The performance was there, just not the points you saw. But that was what I saw. But what you think, Diego?
Yeah, I think it was a really strong welcome back into the NWSL season. I mean, you're back, you're excited, and you have to face really one of the toughest tests in the league, and that's playing Washington on the road. You've got Trinity Rodman, who's, like, to be quite honest, been balling. She's been killing it on the international front, but also on the club level. She's finally finding her footing again this season. I think this is really a Washington team that, just like how you mentioned, like throughout the game had to, get themselves in it, but like throughout the season as well, they had to get themselves in it. Houston, I think, started on the front foot a little better. I think it's always going to be tough to, nail that first goal, and it just ultimately went Washington's way. But I feel like the first half was a really strong performance. Seeing that 0-0 on the board, I mean, that's all thanks to Jane Campbell. Jane Campbell with a penalty save and also a massive save later on in the game. I think that needs to be talked about because it's a reminder of how amazing of a player Jane Campbell is for the Houston Dash. I mean, you talk about that final goal being conceded, and how some people might have pointed it to Jane not really getting there. I would maybe disagree on that because it was such a tough angle. I feel like watching it back, you see 2-3 defenders right there blocking that view, and there's not really much you can do when it comes to a strike like that. Obviously, there is a possibility to do better on that, but I think the chances are far too low to really pin it on a single player. I think it's just a bad situation that the Dash really got caught in, and it was costly in terms of a goal. But to see Fossey get another goal, I think that's extremely positive. We talked about it earlier before the break that when Fossey gets her first, she's going to get a couple more, and she's really going to be more active in the offense. And I think we're definitely seeing that from her. So that's another positive point. And then I think the group played good. I think they played good soccer. I just think they weren't rewarded for it. Whether they were really warranting that reward, I'm not really sure. I think it's a tough Washington team, and when you're up against teams like that, you really have to play extremely well. But I mean, even if there was a last minute goal by Trinity Rodman, there's so many positives. If you're the Houston Dash and you're gonna take them heading into a really, to be honest, another really difficult game that like literally and figuratively is going to be a tall task.
Yeah. So I think I mentioned as well, Jane Campbell did save that penalty. I know that was good of her to do. That was her ninth penalty save this season, and it's tied for the most penalty saves in league history in the current season. So it was good to see that as well from Jane Campbell. I was, the last goal, it was it was a toss of a coin how that ball was going to be or how it would go. Like people say, if she would dive sooner, but if she died sooner, what would happen if deflection come in and people will criticize the other way? If she did, like, why she died early? So it's he's always he never win as a goalkeeper. But I think a few things to mention as well. It was Kiki Van Zanten's first game back from her injury, from her almost a month and a half injury that she had began early in the season. She only played for 45 minutes, but how did you feel about her reintegrating to the group?
I thought it was good. It's always good to see one of your best midfielders back on the field. I think she's going to take some time, and I don't know whether starting her will be the correct decision. It'll really depend on health, because obviously Denver's such a talented team. But I do fundamentally think that, like, when you're getting a player like her back on the field, it's going to be a positive. I think that's like a no duh. But I think the Dash really need to play it smart in how they're going to approach this, because you're up against Denver, you're up against Bay FC at home. These are tough. You got Louisville as well on the 18th. These are all tough. I mean, Louisville, yeah, understanding that their best player is I'm boring the hell out of Manny with this, but their best player is requesting a trade, and that's making a bunch of buzz for Louisville. But you won 4-3 against them last time you played.
Yeah,
it's a tough game. So you got 3 tough tests: Denver, Louisville, and Bay FC. And you have one of your star players, Kiki Van Zanten, reintroducing herself to the team from injury. I think you got to be crucial about this. You got to be, methodical. This isn't the Dash team of last year where you really couldn't really bounce back from this. I know when Maggie Graham went down with the ACL injury, it was a nightmare, to be quite honest, with that squad rotation, because I mean, yeah, you had Delaney Sheehan. Yeah, that was a huge relief, but really the quality that we have now in Houston, I think, is upgraded. I think it's been displayed. I think Maggie has been holding it down. I think Danny Calabrico, you know better than most that that's a player that really can't get slept on. And then on top of that, Kiki's that more offensive threat in the midfield. I think if you play your cards right and really get her reintroduced the right way, then you're in for a treat, because I don't think we're gonna get a similar result from the Denver home game at Shell Energy Stadium. I think we're gonna see an improved Houston, and I think Kiki's gonna be a key. Um, I just want to make sure that we don't see her go down as again, and then have to deal with this all over again.
Yeah, I think so. I think so. So hopefully, little by little, she gets integrated, get her fitness, match fitness up. Hopefully, she can continue to play as she left off from her injury. I think a player that also that been stepped up as well. I think despite her conceding the penalty in the first half was Avery Patterson. I feel like NWSL was very very hyped on the Avery Patterson versus Trinity Rodman
Mm.
reels about it. I think Avery Patterson, despite just her maybe her performance grade wasn't the best because of her conceding the penalty and getting the yellow card because of it as well. I feel like she had a really good game because Trinity Rodman didn't really had opportunities against her. I think at one point they switched sides because Avery was on her was calming her down and not really having her a chance to score. I think that was a player for me like throughout the season. She went to the games. I think was a passenger, maybe not very contributed much, but I think it was the game that she really came out this season and really did a number for the Houston Dash. I don't know, was I the only one seeing that as well?
No, I think I saw it as well, and I think that's I don't know if that's going to be something to like horrifically note for next game, but I don't think you're alone in really seeing that.
Yeah, I think we're come to a point that we expect a lot from Avery Patterson. I think that's the I think when we see a that performance, I think we just expect more and more of that. I think because other than Jane Campbell, Avery Patterson is probably the second crucial player to the team. Then
Yeah.
and then of course Maggie Graham,
I will
Leah.
say though, a huge thing to note is I mean, the 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 pressure's kind of been heavily lifted from Patterson on a defensive level.
Yeah,
Boateng has been phenomenal. Her aggressiveness, her technicality. I think really we're getting a Lisa Boateng that really is as advertised as the big name. I hate saying the big name, but Lisa is in
yeah,
all respects to her career a big name, and she's extremely playing like it. And I think that whereas last year with Avery Patterson performances, you kind of like saw Houston need those. You don't necessarily see that nearly as much. You're competing against the Washingtons, the Gothams, and you don't necessarily need everybody to be at their fully best as and I think that's just a great trajectory. So that's why I'm like not the most concerned about Denver, because it's like we see Houston actually have options
yeah,
in their arsenal.
yeah. I think so too. I think it's just something to options, and I think, like you said, a lot of players are more of highlight and then instead of her. I think she has, I think, taking a step back at the importance, but she's still a crucial player in this team. So it's really good to see how things are moving forward with that as well. But it's a good I think it's a good team that, despite the result, the team did perform well, and these teams do perform at a high level. I think uh, a lot of things, is really interesting with the team selections and everything. This is most likely the team that went out this game was looks like the you could say uh, the strongest starting 11 at the moment. So, but we'll see how it goes. Yeah, Fabrice still likes to tinker and depending on the opponent, but I think this is a team that at the moment is the strongest 11. So we'll see how this will go out and see how future games will go forward. But speaking of future games, you have next up on Sunday night, the Houston Dash faces the Denver Summit away for this tie up. Like you mentioned, Denver did have the 4-1 win the first game here at Shell
Mhm.
early in the season. Uh, Now, of course, Denver did have some notable, you know, upgrade at the coming in. As Leah no, Heaps, Lindsay Heaps. I don't know why I say Leah Heaps. Lindsay Heaps was technically is available for this game, so a major upgrade for Denver for against this Houston Dash. So I just more point out, can the Dash get a result in this matchup?
I think they can. I think it'll be tough. Um, it's a tough game. I mean, the games aren't going to get any simpler if you're looking at it, and I think it will be tough. But I think genuinely the things that I saw from the Dash this game against Washington, I think there's a lot there they can take from it. I think um, they can definitely get a result. I think you saw what um, what Emma Hayes said about Lindsay Heaps and what she'd bring to Denver. That's leadership. That's talent, skill, IQ. That's the ultimate player, and that's something she's been doing for the national team and abroad for years. I want to see how how Nick Cushing's team is really going to utilize her. I think I at this point he's been playing wildly different from his system at
Yeah.
NYCFC or at City Football Group. I think it's been wildly night and day. I think it's been dynamic. I think it's been utilizing speed, utilizing the counterattack. Whereas for his teams back in olden days per se, they were built from the back, kind of slower, more methodical offensive schemes. I think that's benefited Denver a lot, and I think it'll benefit Lindsay Heaps a lot. Um, but I just asked the question of how long is it going to take for that to click? For some players, it's one game, one moment, one kick, and everything clicks. But for some, it's never really sticks. You can throw anything at a wall and it just doesn't stick. I think both could realistically happen. I think the quality and the caliber that Lindsay Apes has, it's not going to be the second option there. Um, but there is a very much possibility that we see Lindsay Heaps get a halftime substitution or a full time start, and it just not be the game. We know Maggie Graham loves to press. We know we can bring in a Clarissa Laracy to really put in pressure, and I think those kinds of players are going to be really key because when you're talking about a team that's transitioning into adding new players, adding new pieces. Um, Throwing a wrench at that whole plan, I think that's exactly what you're gonna need. I think you're gonna need that chaos. You're gonna need that that little bit of hecticness if you're the Houston Dash.
Yeah, I think so too. I think they just need to provide hecticness and just everything to get something for this game as well. I think my next question will be the altitude.
Yeah.
This will be the, like you mentioned, the tallest task is because it's almost 1,000 feet more in altitude compared to the other team that has now at the second most altitude, which is Utah. I think Denver is always known for their altitude, just for the challenges and the uniqueness of the city. You think? I think we. I think it was a question because what was it? England versus Mexico. That was the biggest question. Oh, Mexico's going to win because of the altitude and everything.
Don't remind.
And so what would do you think the Houston Dash are in a disadvantage with the altitude?
I think they've already played in Utah, and they've already kind of experienced that. They've already played in environments like that. I don't think it should be too much of an issue. I I legitimately think like the altitude is not like a big enough problem.
Yeah,
Obviously, you're never gonna adapt to it full time, like you're just not. But there are workarounds, and there is an ability to really,
yeah,
put your best foot forward. I don't think it'll really fare in comparison, maybe when it comes to the rookies, but yeah, I don't know if this is just being like just negative about this, but I just don't buy the whole altitude
yeah,
thing,
yeah.
especially.
I don't buy it either. But it's always a question. It's always a question that people always ask.
Yeah.
I feel like altitude does, for sure, affects your breathing, affects your how your stamina is, because
Yeah.
you gotta take account of your breathing regimen and everything. Breathing regimen affects your stamina, affects your speed and everything. But and it also is like, oh, well, the ball carries different. Of course, yeah, but the ball, you're always gonna have different, how you say, circumstances when you go to different visit other people's
Yeah.
stadiums and pitches. If it's not the altitude, is the crowd, is the stadium, it's the pressure from the home fans. If it's not that, if it's the stadium, the pitch, it's cut different, it's more narrow, it's more, feels more closed in than it's wide open. So players professionally are prepared to fight those challenges and try and take them and try, you know, get the 3 points. But of course, as well, the NWSL, I feel like the NWSL and the MLS, when it comes to away games, it's very harder because to travel distance, the regimen, it's very much harsher on the players than most any other teams in the league. So that take an effect. So do
Hmm.
a difference of altitude may come in effect, but at the end of the day, they're professional players, and I think if I'm not mistaken, uh, as well, I think Denver did lose some games and tie a lot of games at home as well. So it's not become a huge advantage for them as well. So players do have gotten result at Denver. So
Hmm.
I think it's just see how this team stacks up against them. But now, time for the prediction. What do you scoreline are you going for, Diego, for this game?
I think it's gonna be 2-1. I think it's gonna be 2-1 Houston. I'll be positive.
I think I do see a draw. I think I see a draw.
Okay.
I see a 1-1 draw.
Okay.
Um, just because to build on what they had from last game, they're still very good, very effective. Just needs to continue moving forward and starting to find, I think, a rhythm back into a in second half of the season, and see how it goes from there. But I
Hmm.
do see, hopefully Kiki might do to predict Kiki to score a goal. So we'll see how that turns up for this game. But that's pretty much it on our front. I know the NWSL is still rapid forward, still a lot of World Cup. Thankfully, this game is not on a it's on a rest day, so there'll be no World Cup games for this
Yeah.
game. So uh,
We can all watch it, and I expect everybody to watch it.
unless you crush if one of your teams from this weekend are eliminated from the World Cup, which is no one. Just unless you're a Spain fan or England
I'm
fan
not a Spain fan.
or Argentina fan.
I am absolutely not an Argentina fan.
It's gonna be Argentina in the final. $5 already.
It'll be France, Norway.
Nah,
Yep.
I don't know. I just hope Belgium or Morocco just do something. But that's me.
Not.
Yeah.
Switzerland's gonna beat Argentina.
Nah, I think Belgium. I have more confidence Morocco beating France. That's a hot
That's
take.
a fair take. I think that's a fair take.
I know it's not a World Cup, but it's just like I do feel that Morocco, even though they may not score goals or may not be the prettiest on the pitch, but they get it done.
This
Well,
dude just wants to talk. World Cup, man.
World Cup. Nah, uh, nah. It's just that. I think it's just so much on the mind. It's just like we want this game to just not to be over, but like, okay, what's next? Who gets out?
Yeah. No, I get that.
Yeah, but it's pretty good. It's pretty good. So we'll see how it goes, and we'll see how things go with the dash and the NWSL. So would they make a good, interesting transfer or not? And so we'll see how it goes from here on. But thank you for all for coming in, tuning in for another edition with the Oranger Blueprints. Uh, as once again, we'd like to thank our sponsor with We Got Soccer, Unisport, and Lotes Bravos and Ugly Guppy. Please always look out for us on our website, BioCitySoccer.net, social media with BioCity Soccer at Instagram, X, Twitter, uh, YouTube, the Blue Sky, the Threads, and the TikTok. Uh, so we all encourage us to keep out going on. I know that the Houston Dash had their training session for the season ticket members on Tuesday. It looked like a lot of fun. It looked like a lot of happy faces. So let's see if we can bring those happy faces with a result on Sunday as well. And so it's so much to do. Is quick question before we leave: is Dash House still open for the weekend? Yeah, your eyes is like.
I should know this. I actually don't know.
I think they. I don't know because since USA and Mexico got cut out, I think they're like everyone. I think everyone's like kind of like in limbo. It's like
This is so embarrassing. I should know this.
yeah, because it's like I don't blame anyone because it's like I think because since what's it called since Mexico and USA are out, I think a lot of people's plans or won't know until maybe the weekend. Because I think order day tomorrow they will announce something because no they have nothing so far, so yeah I think something that came in mind because I was like
Yeah, I actually I will
they
get.
haven't announced it. They haven't announced it.
Right now, and I can't find it.
Nah, I was just thinking out the top of my head, uh, going to Dash House, and so, but we'll see. But
But yeah,
thank you all for coming in and see how it goes, and see we'll see what teams get eliminated from the World Cup, but also if the Houston Dash get a result on Sunday. But thank you all once again. Got anything to say, Diego, before we head out?
let's hope for a good weekend of exciting soccer. That's all I can really say.
Yep. Let's go Houston Dash. But thank you all for coming in, and we'll see y'all next time.